nama saya Kanaya Utama.
Nama saya Kemal Rifki.
Oh, halo dan saya William Sugiharto.
Hari ini kami akan berbagi tentang yayasan kami, Yayasan Sendikes, dan our journey as an organization, as well as cara kami melestarikan badak Jawa. Jadi kita bisa langsung aja mulai dengan presentasi kami.
Hey, halo guys, saya William Sugiharto, co-founder Sondekes dengan teman saya Kemal Rifki yang di atas itu, dan Kanaya itu salah satu team member kami. Dan hari ini kita akan mempresentasikan tentang organisasi kita yaitu Project Sondekes. Slide berikutnya. Oke, ini sekarang nih di video ini sekitar ada lebih dari 300 lebih dari 3 juta penonton. Dan kalian bisa pikir nggak, kalian penonton itu lebih banyak daripada ada ekor badak Jawa di dunia. Di dunia hanya ada 72 ekor badak Jawa. Dan kalian bisa lihat foto ini, foto ini kayak representasikan ada berapa badak Jawa yang terada di dunia. Slide berikutnya. Oke, dan badak Jawa itu di seluruh dunia udah nggak ada lagi kecuali di Indonesia. Dan di Indonesia pun badak Jawa itu hanya di satu area, yaitu di Taman Nasional Ujung Kulon. Dan Taman Nasional Ujung Kulon ini berada di Provinsi Banten di Indonesia. Kalau kalian bisa lihat jari ini tunjuk posisi Ujung Kulon di Indonesia. Slide berikutnya. Oh ya. Nah, kalau kalian lihat foto ini geografisnya Pulau Ujung Kulon. Dan kalau menurut saya sih, pulau ini mirip dengan kepala badak. Kan kalau kalian bisa lihat di sini, itu kayak culunya dan itu ada kupingnya. Dan kalian setuju nggak pulaunya mirip kepala badak? Kalau setuju, tulis aja di comments-nya. Slide berikutnya. Oh, dan apa itu tujuan kami di Sondekes ini? Tujuan kami di Sondekes ini itu untuk mempreservasikan badak Jawa ini supaya mereka tidak akan menjadi extinct. Kayak mereka akan masih ada di masa depan. Dan kenapa kami kayak mau kerjain tugas ini? Karena kami itu kayak we believe that karena kayak the Javan rhinos are extinct karena manusia, dan kita sebagai manusia juga harus mempunyai tanggung jawab supaya mereka don't go extinct. Dan seperti yang tadi aku bilang, badak Jawa juga cuman hanya ada di Indonesia. Dan karena hanya di Indonesia, ini kita bisa terhitung sebagai Indonesia's national heritage. Makanya kita sebagai Indonesians have to protect this species karena spesies ini itu unik kepada Indonesia. Slide berikutnya. Oke, dan sekarang teman saya Kemal Rifki akan presentasikan bagaimana kita mulai Sondekes. Sorry Kemal.
Oke, jadi gue Kemal, dan Sondekes ini sebenarnya awalnya dengan YouTube video yang was recommended to me when I was procrastinating for a test. Basically, it was about photographer Steven Belcher trying to take picture photo badak Jawa, first high definition photo of badak Jawa ini, and it turns out that like there hasn't been a high definition photo of Javan rhino in 100 years. Yang the last one being like kayak photo di London Zoo in like 1910, and that was like inside the sanctuary. So this is the first photo ever, and it was so interesting to me. But then it was also kind of like I felt like shame. Soalnya sebagai orang Indonesia, I didn't even know that there was ada badak Jawa. And like knowing that the badak Jawa ini tinggalnya dekat banget dari where I was living, and like it was so critically endangered that I didn't know about it. I felt like I wanted to do something about it. I wanted to do something about it. I needed to do something about it. So jadi the next day on the way to school, I thought of ideas, and I also wanted other people. Okay, I wanted my friends, my family to also join. Jadi waktu sampai di sekolah, langsung gue ngomong sama Will, gue ngomong sama Avi, and then I dragged them with me to my project. And then I pitched them this idea. Jadi the idea was to basically raise funds for a truck that nanti kita donasi ke Ujung Kulon dan mereka bisa pakai untuk kayak transportasi badaknya, transportasi appliance or something like that. Tapi masalahnya I did this without a lot of like research into gimana konservasi ini tuh actually done, because I just saw this like, oh, they probably can use it somehow. And then jadi with this pitch I tried to contact anyone in Ujung Kulon. Next slide. And then setelah next slide. Setelah seminggu atau 2 minggu, I was contacted with Pak Yudi, the head of the external affairs in Ujung Kulon National Park, one of the administrators. Jadi after discussing with him, he was so supportive. Jadi kayak wow, idenya keren banget, and like ada anak-anak yang juga peduli gitu lah. And then I thought that like mungkin it would be an amazing idea kalau misalnya me, Will, and kita sama dengan teman-teman kita pada ke Ujung Kulon untuk like to find out how the conservation actually works and how it's run. And in the script we met with Pak Mumu, the head of the conservation efforts in Pecuang Island. Kalau misalnya ngelihat mapnya di slide selanjutnya, Pulau Pecuang tuh yang pulau di atas culaknya Ujung Kulon gitu lah. Yang pulau itu tuh the central of the like where all the expeditions coming from. And in this meeting the first realization, di foto itu kan kelihatan tuh part of Ujung Kulon, dan itu kan semua rainforest ya, thick jungle. Dan karena rainforest ini tuh kan truk juga nggak bisa dipakai dalam situ, so it's utterly useless. Dan badak Jawa juga susah banget. Like my idea of using it to transport badak Jawa juga impossible. Soalnya klik deh, nanti kan kelihatan tuh. Misalnya kayak badak Jawa itu kan kecil banget, and then inside this thick forest, it's just impossible lah. And then but at the same time, he told us about how di tahun sebelumnya kan Ujung Kulon Park itu trying to crack down on illegal fishing and hunting. But then as a result ada beberapa orang yang masuk ke dalam Pecuang Island, Pulau Pecuang ini, dan basically next slide. Dan mengambil mesin dari kapal patroli yang dipakai sama mereka. Dan ini situasi yang gue melihat waktu pertama kali ke sana. Tapi kan when seeing this, gue mikir kayak daripada ngebeli kapal patroli baru, mendingan kan ini direstorasi, habis itu nanti tinggal ditambahin sama mesin yang baru gitu. Jadi that idea itu kan bisa lebih cost effective dan lebih efektif juga untuk membantu the Rhino Protection Unit di Ujung Kulon National Park, di Ujung Kulon. Dan with this idea we tried to raise funds for it. Masalahnya kan ini di akhir 2018, tapi kita cuma selesai kampanye ini tuh di awal 2020 tahun ini. Next slide. Dan kampanye ini tuh jadi dinamakan Awak Kapal Badak. Next slide. Okay. Dan ini selesainya kampanye Awak Kapal Badak di awal tahun ini, di mana ada handover dari mesin speedboat yang kita beri, dan juga ada restorasi. Tapi ya updates dari program ini juga bisa kelihatan di Instagram kita. Next slide. Masalahnya kenapa lama banget? Soalnya waktu kita pertama mulai dengan project ini, gue mikir kayak okay, it would be good idea kalau misalnya kita raise funds dengan menjual art. Masalahnya nor will me, nggak ada yang di project itu tuh mau jadi artist or like academically wanted to do art. So it was like, I don't know why I thought of it. I just thought it was a good idea. Jadi it was so bad that we lost basically everything related to this project. And then the second year we tried doing the project, itu baru sukses. Dan project ini, ide ini kampanye crowdfunding ini namanya Rory the Rhino, di mana kita next slide ngejual plushie badak Jawa, and then the main central part of this campaign itu tuh video campaign yang kayak I don't know, it's like out of the box gitu, genius banget. Maksudnya it's made by Will, so I don't think I can even explain it correctly gitu. Coba ya udah Will aja deh. I mean Will.
Are you depressed? Are you lonely? Do you not have any friends? This is Rory the Rhino. He is also sad. There's only 67 of his species left. We humans have exterminated their kind and almost killed them. Meet Rory's friends, Rory, Ramsey, Rick, Rosie, and Ranja. Whoops, Ranja, look here.
Will?
Iya, itu video yang kami bikin untuk kampanye marketing kita yang membuat Rory kita menjadi sukses. Saat perbuatan video itu aku nggak tahu aku lagi mikirin apa, tapi itu hasilnya. Dan teman saya Kenaya akan mempresentasikan tentang marketing campaign kami dan Rory the Rhino.
Nah, jadi dengan marketing campaign yang Will buat itu, kita berhasil menjual 200 boneka Rory dalam 3 bulan. Terus kayak pada saat itu tuh kita senang banget, kayak wow banget gitu loh. We sold $200 cuma 3 bulan with that video. Tapi kayak TBH, what makes us different from any other organization? Kita tuh sama aja kayak any other penggalangan dana. Ya, kita galang dana, terus kita udah donasi. Tapi apa, what makes us different? What makes Sendika special? Next slide. We're no different from any other Jakarta fundraiser yang ada di Instagram. Next slide. Nah, namun setelah beberapa kunjungan ke Taman Nasional Ujung Kulon, kami menyadari bahwa untuk melestarikan badak Jawa, kesejahteraan masyarakat di sekitarnya juga penting. Misalnya, mayoritas pemburu gelap terpaksa untuk memburu badak bukan karena mereka benci badak atau kayak bosen atau nggak ada kerjaan lain, tapi karena mereka butuh mencari nafkah. Nah, sejak saat itu, kami sebagai yayasan bertuju untuk menciptakan ekosistem di mana manusia dan satwa dapat hidup berdampingan. Next slide. Dari situ kami mengembangkan the 3 Sendikas Pillars yang merupakan 3 pendekatan kami terhadap konservasi badak Jawa. Yang pertama, next slide, adalah direct conservation. Melalui direct conservation, kami secara langsung memberikan dampak nyata terhadap pelestarian badak Jawa. Next slide. Yang kedua adalah youth engagement, yang bertuju untuk meningkatkan kesadaran kaum muda terhadap masalah lingkungan, agar kami memiliki generasi penerus yang sepedulinya peduli sama lingkungan. Next slide. And the last is community outreach. Di situ kami meningkatkan dukungan untuk Sendikas dari penduduk di sekitar TNUK, yakni di Provinsi Banten, agar meningkatkan dukungan terhadap organisasi kami dan membantu kesejahteraan masyarakat setempat, sehingga badak tidak perlu menjadi sumber penghasilan bagi mereka. Next slide. Sekarang rekan saya Kemal akan berbagi tentang inisiatif community outreach kami yang pertama.
Oke. Jadi program community outreach yang pertama kita pernah lihat itu Bantulah Banten. Nah, Bantulah Banten ini mulainya itu di 1 hari setelah tsunami Selat Sunda 2018 di Desember 22. Dan in the next day, we were already there at 4 a.m. in the morning, bringing all the supplies that we had. And from then on, we started our first Kita Bisa campaign, which is to help basically with emergency supplies dan to help rebuild the community in Pandeglang. And in the end, we raised 400 million 50% of that going to yang emergency supplies, and the 50% of that going into rebuilding Huntara atau hunian sementara di Pandeglang itu. Dan kalau misalnya foto yang di sini yang dengan Pak Yudi itu one of our first relief aid efforts. Dan but then this program is still ongoing. Jadi we're still helping the community dan Huntara grow and help with their needs. For example, we built extra toilets last year when there was a problem with the water issue, and we built extra wells that they needed for extra water supplies, and also increasing testing capacity when the COVID pandemic first started in March, and more on, and furthermore. Okay, next slide.
Nah, sekarang saya akan menjelaskan pilar kami yang kedua, yaitu youth engagement. Jadi kami meningkatkan kesadaran dalam masyarakat tentang inisiatif kami melalui berbagai cara. Yang pertama, kami sering diundang oleh third party organizations untuk berbagi tentang cerita kami. Misalnya, tahun lalu kami diundang oleh American Chamber of Commerce dan juga the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals Fair, dan kami juga dinominasikan untuk Kick Andy Heroes tahun lalu, tapi nggak ada fotonya, tapi iya. Melalui oportunitas tersebut, kami dapat berbagi cerita kami dengan audiens yang lebih large daripada kami sebelumnya capai. Kemudian kami juga memiliki beberapa social media campaign yang terdapat pada halaman Instagram kami @snakes_. Nah, di situ kami mempublikasikan berbagai konten yang educational dan juga entertaining, dan juga mengupdate followers kita tentang kegiatan kami yang terbaru. Dan terakhir, saya tahun ini baru saja nge-launch our newest program, yaitu Sendikes Scouts, which is a school club untuk anak-anak berumur 8-12 tahun, where they can learn about rhinos, pelestarian lingkungan, dan hal-hal lain terkait topik tersebut. Menurut kami ini salah satu proyek yang paling penting, karena kami yakin bahwa dengan establishing a new generation which cares about the environment as much as we do, proyek kami akan terus-menerus impact the lives of many in the future. Next slide.
Oh ya, dan salah satu proyek yang kami lakukan di Sondekes itu adalah Sondekes FC. Dan Sondekes FC itu di bawah community outreach. Sondekes FC itu adalah kayak klub sepak bola di bagaimana kita mengkasih oportunitas untuk anak-anak di Banten supaya mereka bisa bermain sepak bola. Dan this project gives kids the opportunity to play soccer, while at the same time it also helps to raise awareness about Sondekes and the Javan Rhinos. Because if you see the name of the soccer team, Sondekes FC, you're going to start thinking what's that, Sondekes FC? And because of that, you'll be more aware about the Javan Rhinos, because Sondekes is the scientific name of the Javan Rhino. So yeah, it gives kids an opportunity to play soccer and helps raise awareness. Slide berikutnya.
Nah, sekarang saya akan menjelaskan program kami yang terbaru dan yang paling gede, karena proyek lengkap ini mencakupi ketiga pilar kita di Sondekes. Next slide. Nah, first, direct conservation. Pertama, saya akan menjelaskan kenapa keberadaan pohon langkap itu membahayakan badak Jawa. Nah, as you can see on the slide, pohon langkap itu bentuknya tinggi, itu sekitar 8-15 meter, dan lebar, jadi kayak payung. So, and it's very invasive. Jadi itu tumbuh di mana-mana, terlalu banyak, terus itu kayak nutupin matahari from reaching the ground. Jadi pohon-pohon yang lebih rendah yang digunakan oleh para badak Jawa sebagai pakan, itu susah tumbuhnya karena nggak kena matahari kan. Nah, oleh karena itu kami perlu menebas pohon-pohon langkap agar pakannya badak Jawa itu nggak threatened. Next slide. Nah, kami juga ada community outreach, seperti yang sudah dipaparkan oleh rekan saya Kemal sebelumnya. Karena tsunami Selat Sunda tahun lalu, banyak nelayan yang kehilangan pekerjaan, dan jadinya ada kayak disparity antara population of nelayan sama population of petani. Nah, melalui program ini kami bukan hanya memperkerjakan para nelayan untuk membantu menebas pohon langka, tapi kami juga re-educate mereka untuk menjadi petani, sehingga kayak disparity between, so we can reallocate human resources dari petani sama nelayan itu jadi kayak equal, you know. Next slide. Dan terakhir, kami juga menggunakan Project Langkap sebagai opportunity untuk mengedukasi the youth, which is through Instagram and through our Sendika Scouts Club on our initiatives and how we can melestarikan badak Jawa. Next. Kami berharap kalian bisa, semua teman-teman di sini bisa belajar banyak dari presentasi kami. Apakah ada masukan lain dari Will atau Kemal?
Oh ya, dan kita berharap kayak kalian juga bisa terinspirasi dari presentasi kita dan kalian juga bisa membuat perbedaan di negara kita dan dunia kita.
Iya, terima kasih semuanya. Kita lanjut aja dulu ya ke Q&A. Silakan kalau ada questions atau apa-apa, just put it in the question in the chat box.
Oh, dan saya juga mau minta maaf kalau saya dan tim bahasa Indonesia kitanya kurang jelas atau kurang sesuai.
Oke, ada pertanyaan. How do we buy Rory the Rhino? Bisa pre-order?
Oh, you guys can buy it you can contact us on our Instagram, just directly text us, or you can buy it from on Tokopedia, because you can search up Sondekas Rory the Rhino and we'll be there.
First
And
one
then-
there, yeah.
Okay. Second question. Aside from Rory the Rhino, how do you fund this program? Jadi selain menjual produk kami sendiri, kami juga kadang-kadang kita CSR with larger companies atau mungkin ada private donor, dan kami juga sering bikin kolaborasi dengan small businesses and brands that want to contribute to our cause. Misalnya, this scarf I'm wearing is one of our products that's like in collaboration with a small brand called Chugiwear on Instagram. You can find it there.
We're also going to be selling this hoodie. And I guess and in a few months, I guess in a few weeks, we'll be starting a new crowdfunding campaign for the Langkap program. So that'll also be a way to help the program in general.
Next question. Adakah program yang dibuat atau dibantu oleh Sendikes agar populasi badak Jawa meningkat?
Ya, semua program yang di bawah direct conservation it's meant to help with the Javan rhino population. The problem is that we actually had a segment that was deleted from this presentation about these types of questions, about how can the rhinos be reproduced. Now, the problem is that the situation is very unique, that you can't, and it lacks, I guess, attention for there to be enough funding for those types of big projects that happen. For example, the ones that we often see with African rhinos. That's why we're trying to get the message out there that this is an important thing and people should care about it, right?
Oke, dan
Anything to add?
pertanyaan. Sorry, kenapa Kem?
Ada yang mau ditambah?
Bentar, I think I'll move on to the next question because we have quite a few. Oke, pertanyaan 4 dari Nadia itu untuk kepadanya, apakah kalian mungkin tertarik untuk membantu endangered species lainnya di Indonesia? Ya, kalau bisa sih kita pengen kayak membantu spesies lain di Indonesia. Tetapi kan kita juga sekarang masih di SMA. Terus kita lagi fokus di badak Jawa dulu. Terus nanti kalau kita ada progres di badak Jawa dan udah kayak bisa tolong badak Jawanya, mungkin kita akan pindah ke spesies yang lain.
Oke. Question berikutnya. Can you track your impact? How many rhinos are now left in Indonesia?
So there was 69 rhinos when we started in 2017. There is 72 rhinos last year in 2019. Yeah. And how can we track our impact? Well, I don't know how to say that. I mean, we can't, how would you, Nai atau Will, or tambah? It's hard to, there's no numerical figure on how we directly help the rhinos. We can't just say we helped 3 rhinos give births or something. Tapi How
Yeah,
would you
because
gimana ya, elaborate?
like I would say our main goal like we can't really kayak since we can't make them reproduce kayak rhinos tuh nggak bisa di IVF or something, you know. All we can do is like minimize the chances that their population is gonna continue to decrease. But like Kemal has said, when we first started, there was 69 rhinos, but now there's 74. So I guess the population is one way to track our progress. And we can't, even though they're like in a huge rainforest in the middle of the like Pechuang, Banten, Ujung Kulon, but there are park rangers there who use like the patrol boat we help them fix to like go around and count the number of rhinos. So I guess that's one way we can track our progress.
Yeah, so basically, like, it's difficult to actually like count how many rhinos there are in Ujung Kulon because it's like such a big area of land and there are so little rhinos. As we said before, there's 72. And just imagine like if you're in this super large area, like let's say like you're in a mall and you're trying to find your friend, but then you don't have a cell phone. It's gonna be really difficult because like they're all scattered around this huge area of land. So basically 72 is like just a prediction, but then we were able to know that there's an increase in the population because like some park rangers in the area witnessed like a female rhino give birth to 2 rhinos.
Okay, I think that's all the questions we have time to answer for now.
Wait,
Terima
there's
kasih.
still...
Wait, is there more?
If you want to know more,
Oh,
you
never
can
mind.
just like look at our Instagram. We post a lot of stuff about educating stuff about the rhinos. You can, I don't know, comment or something and engage with us and ask us more questions that we can answer in the stories and in the future content. Anything to add?
I think that's it. So yeah, if you have any questions, just feel free to contact us. But sadly, the time is almost up and we have to finish our presentation. But thank you
We have one
untuk
more
kalian
question.
semua udah hadir di presentasi kami.
When we go to the university, what's the plan? Now you want to answer? Or...
Okay, so as I previously mentioned, kita sekarang ada program youth engagement di mana kami encourage younger kids than us to like initiate with to be involved in our cause. Right now, we already have a new set of crew that's a year younger than us, so that when we go to university, there's for sure someone that's gonna like participate in our activities. Furthermore, we're not limited to like after graduating kita harus stop gitu, enggak, karena kan kita we're a yayasan now, and like we can still keep continuing this for the rest of our lives, basically, as long as we're signed up as like part of it, you know. Any other things to add?
I think you said it. I think that's it. Yeah.
That's it.
Naya, anything else?
There's
another one.
What will the goal, ultimate goal other than preserving the current numbers for production? No. Can I answer? Okay. So I would say the ultimate goal of Sandekas is a community in Banten, not only Banten, but a sample of how as Indonesians we're supposed to interact with the environment that is around us. You know what I mean? We always talk about how special Indonesia is and how it's, you know, a gem. We have a special in it, but then we're actually trying to do that. We're actually so that the community around Ujung Kulon and Pandeglang will benefit from the conservation of these Javan rhinos, and they will be not only preserved, but their numbers will increase, and there will be more effort into it. So it's like, so we're trying to. I wouldn't say similar to the Komodo, but then like that's not a bad example, I would say. You know. Anything else?
I think that's all the questions, Cam. So thank you so much to everyone for coming to our presentation. Terima kasih banyak, and thank you so much to Idea Spark for having us here.
Ya, terima kasih guys. Thank
Terima
you.
kasih.